What started as a friendly interview turned into live TV chaos when Meghan Markle stood up and walked off the Kelly Clarkson show in front of a stunned audience. No warning, no script, just raw tension, and a clash no one saw coming. What did Kelly say that pushed Meghan over the edge? Let's break down the moment the cameras couldn't stop recording. It began like any other feel-good celebrity interview. Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, walked onto the set of the Kelly Clarkson show to warm applause. Dressed in a crisp, elegant white pantsuit, she exuded confidence and composure. Her hair was perfectly styled, her demeanor poised, and her smile polished but sincere. This was Meghan at her best. Prepared, polished, and fully in control of the narrative she was about to share. The interview was expected to focus on Meghan's philanthropic work, her upcoming podcast series, and her continued advocacy for mental health and women's empowerment. For daytime viewers, it was marketed as a lighthearted, inspiring conversation between two influential women who had both faced their share of challenges in the public eye. Kelly Clarkson, the host beloved for her down-to-earth charm and relatability, greeted Meghan with warmth and admiration. She praised Meghan's resilience and grace, framing the interview as a safe space for meaningful dialogue. The two women sat across from each other in plush armchairs, set against a bright and cozy backdrop typical of daytime TV. The lighting was soft, the atmosphere easy. Kelly kicked things off with casual small talk, family life, motherhood, the weather in Montecito. Meghan responded with genuine laughter and thoughtful answers, revealing glimpses of her everyday life beyond the headlines. The audience responded warmly, clapping and laughing in sync with the conversation. There was an immediate chemistry between them. Two mothers, two public figures, both singers in their own right in terms of being heard and seen, both women who had walked through fire in the public arena. Their conversation initially painted a picture of sisterhood, support, and shared experience. Meghan spoke about her foundation's latest initiatives, her hopes for future projects, and her journey of self-discovery since stepping back from royal duties. But even as smiles were exchanged and applause filled the air, there was an undercurrent of anticipation. Viewers could sense the conversation would soon turn to deeper, more sensitive territory. And when it did, the tone would shift dramatically, transforming what began as a celebration of personal growth into one of the most talked-about interviews of the year. The calm before the storm had passed unnoticed. What came next would stun the audience and make headlines around the world. The interview began with warm banter, as Meghan and Kelly exchanged laughs about morning routines, raising kids, and the challenges of balancing work and family life. The mood was relaxed, even playful. Meghan seemed at ease, confident, thoughtful, and entirely in control. But that easy rhythm wouldn't last. Gradually, Kelly Clarkson, ever professional, shifted the conversation toward the more complex aspects of Meghan's public journey. So many people see you as more than a public figure, Kelly began carefully. They see your story as symbolic, a woman navigating legacy, identity, and reinvention in the public eye. Meghan smiled but didn't fully respond. It was clear she sensed where things were heading. Then Kelly went there. "How do you manage public opinion?" she asked, especially after everything with the royal family. It was a delicate question, framed respectfully, but everyone in the room could feel the tension rise. The audience leaned forward. Meghan's posture subtly changed. She sat a little straighter, her smile more reserved. Still, she answered with composure, saying, "I try not to live my life through the lens of headlines. I focus on building something real for my children, for my foundation, for myself." Kelly nodded. It could have ended there. But then she followed up with a sharper, more pointed question. "In some of your past interviews, especially with Oprah, there were statements about the royal family that made waves. Do you ever think your side of the story may have painted others unfairly, especially when the other side remained silent?" The air in the studio turned heavy. There was no music, no laughter, no polite applause, just silence. Meghan looked down for a moment, then back at Kelly. Her expression visibly changed. The warmth from earlier had faded. She replied, her voice firm, "It's not about sides. It's about my truth." The room stayed still. There was no yelling, no raised voices, just the unmistakable tension of two women now standing on very different ground. "Kelly, Maintaining her role as interviewer, pressed on, but more cautiously. Megan's body language tightened. The charm and openness she'd walked in were now replaced with clear discomfort and restraint. The tone of the interview had shifted, and what had begun as a hopeful conversation now stood on the edge of confrontation. What unfolded next was one of the most jaw-dropping moments in daytime television history, an exchange that would be replayed, dissected, and debated across media platforms for days. After Kelly's probing question, Meghan's demeanor changed entirely. Her once engaged expression shifted to something far more guarded, even hurt. She leaned back in her chair, paused, and then, in a measured but sharp tone, accused Kelly of falling into what she called tabloid framing. Her voice was steady, but her words carried undeniable weight. "This is the same kind of media spin that pits women against each other," Meghan said. "I came here to talk about purpose, not palace gossip." The studio audience, caught between admiration and discomfort, grew completely silent. Even Kelly, a seasoned performer and interviewer, looked momentarily stunned. But she didn't flinch. With practiced calm, she responded, clarifying that her intention was never to stir controversy, but rather to offer viewers an honest and thoughtful conversation. "My job," she said gently, "is to ask questions people are already wondering about. I'm not here to attack you, Meghan. I admire you." But Meghan wasn't having it. Her body language grew more closed off, arms crossed, eyes scanning the room, as if weighing whether to continue. Her answers to the next couple of questions were clipped, barely more than a sentence at a time. The atmosphere in the studio had turned icy. What had started as an empowering moment between two strong women now felt like a standoff. Then came the breaking point. Without warning, Meghan reached for her lapel mic, unclipped it, and stood up. The tension was so thick you could feel it through the screen. She looked at Kelly and said, slowly and clearly, "If this is what we're doing, then I'm done here." Gasps rippled through the audience. Some people visibly shifted in their seats. Others held their breath. A couple of crew members rushed from the wings. The camera stayed on, but the energy in the room had plummeted. Within seconds, Meghan was gently ushered offstage by producers. Kelly, holding her composure like a true professional, turned to the audience with a calm but surprised smile. "Well," she said, "that's not what we expected, but live TV is unpredictable. Let's take a quick break." And just like that, the screen cut to commercial. What happened during that break would soon become the talk of every newsroom and timeline around the globe. Within the hour, the clip of Meghan Markle removing her mic and walking off the Kelly Clarkson show set was everywhere. Edited versions of the tense exchange surfaced across social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, racking up millions of views in a matter of hours. News outlets picked up the footage, and hashtags like hashtag Meghan Walkoff, hashtag Kelly Show Clash, and hashtag Talk Show Drama shot to the top of trending charts worldwide. Reactions were instant, emotional, and deeply divided. Meghan's supporters came out in full force, applauding what they called a brave and necessary act of boundary setting. "She's been through enough," one viral tweet read, "and shouldn't have to explain herself again and again." Many viewers felt Meghan had been cornered with leading questions that relied on sensational headlines rather than respectful inquiry. They praised her for refusing to be pulled into another media circus, calling her actions a display of strength and integrity. Mental health advocates echoed this sentiment, arguing that Meghan made the right choice by stepping away from a situation that triggered discomfort rather than enduring it for public consumption. But not everyone was on her side. Critics were quick to label her response as overly dramatic and evasive. They pointed out that as someone who frequently speaks out about her life and struggles in interviews, Meghan should have been prepared for pushback or scrutiny. "You can't seek the spotlight and then get upset when it shines too brightly," one commentator posted. Others accused her of hypocrisy, claiming to want honest conversations while walking away the moment those conversations became uncomfortable. They questioned whether Meghan truly wanted dialogue or simply wanted to control the narrative without challenge. Media professionals also weighed in. In op-eds and news segments, journalists debated the ethics of the exchange. Was Kelly Clarkson out of line, or was she doing her job by asking what millions were already thinking? Some praised Kelly's poise under pressure, noting that she asked difficult but fair questions with tact and professionalism. Others questioned whether the interview crossed a boundary between journalism and spectacle. No matter the opinion, one thing was clear. Meghan's walk-off wasn't just a celebrity moment. It was a cultural flashpoint, and the conversation it sparked was far from over. As expected, the British royal family maintained its long-standing tradition of silence in the face of controversy. No official statement was issued by Buckingham Palace regarding Meghan Markle's dramatic walk-off from the Clarkson show. The royal institution, known for its never complain, never explain mantra, remained quiet as the media storm intensified. Yet palace insiders reportedly monitored the situation closely, aware of how each new public episode involving Meghan continues to ripple across royal narratives and public perception. Meanwhile, Clarkson took a moment on her next show to address what had become international news. With her usual poise and sincerity, she told her audience, "I respect all my guests. Sometimes conversations get uncomfortable, but I believe that's how we grow." That's what this show is about, real people having real conversations. Her brief but measured response earned praise from both viewers and media analysts, many of whom admired her grace under pressure during a moment that could have easily unraveled on live television. Meghan's team also issued a statement, short but pointed. The Duchess of Sussex does not regret choosing to walk away from a conversation that felt increasingly hostile and agenda-driven. She stands by her right to protect her peace and speak her truth on her own terms. The response fueled further debate, intensifying the already polarized conversation unfolding online and in newsrooms. The walk-off reopened long-standing questions about the line between journalism and intrusion, vulnerability and control. Was Meghan unfairly targeted by a daytime talk show trying to boost ratings? Or did she reject the kind of honest, challenging questions that public figures are expected to face? The truth, perhaps, lies somewhere in between. This incident once again underscored how deeply Meghan's presence in the public sphere continues to provoke strong reactions. Whether she's viewed as a woman standing in her power or one avoiding accountability, there's no denying that her every move remains headline material. But more importantly, the walk-off sparked a broader conversation. One about how we treat people who dare to speak openly about trauma, identity, and boundaries on global platforms. In the end, Meghan's exit wasn't just a personal choice. It became a cultural moment, one that raised more questions than answers. And the world? It's still watching. If you found this story as jaw-dropping as we did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more explosive celebrity moments and media showdowns. Got thoughts on what really happened between Meghan and Kelly? Drop a comment below. We're reading all of them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next drama-packed episode.